That's a fact. Few men, perhaps even fewer, truly understand the depth of wisdom that comes with age. We often get caught up in the hustle of life, chasing success, wealth, recognition, believing that these are the true measures of achievement. But in reality, the most profound lessons come not from books or seminars, but from those who have lived long, challenging lives. People who have weathered storms, experienced both the highs and lows of existence, and come out on the other side with wisdom that can shape our lives in ways we never imagined. Today, I'm going to share the words of a 92-year-old woman whose advice is more valuable than anything a self-help guru could offer. These are not just the words of an elderly person. These are the reflections of someone who has seen a world in constant change, yet remained grounded in values that transcend time. This woman, now in her 92nd year, didn't just survive the passage of time, she thrived. And the lessons she's learned, the wisdom she's accumulated, are lessons that many men, no matter their age, desperately need to hear. The woman's life. To understand the magnitude of her wisdom, we need to first understand her life. This woman was born in an era that, for most of us, feels like a different world altogether. A time when life was simpler, yet so much harder. She grew up in an age where every day was a struggle, where survival meant resilience, where making ends meet required hard work, and where family was everything. She lived through times that shaped her into the person she is today. Times when the values of kindness, patience, humility, and respect weren't just ideals, but necessities for survival. She saw the world transform, from the Great Depression to wars, from technological revolutions to societal changes, and through it all, she found a way to adapt, learn, and grow. But what she discovered in her journey was something that many men miss along the way. The most important lesson. One day, sitting with her, I asked her what the most important thing she had learned over her 92 years was. I expected her to share a complex piece of advice, something profound yet academic. But instead, with a calm, steady voice, she said something so simple, yet so powerful, it resonated deep within me. She said, "You want to know the most important thing I've learned in my life? It's not about how hard you work. It's not about the money you make. It's not even about the titles you hold or the power you gain. It's about respect. The way you treat people, especially the women in your life, defines your success more than anything else." I sat there taken aback. It wasn't just her words, it was the weight they carried. It wasn't a fleeting piece of advice. It was a profound truth distilled from almost a century of experience. The power of respect. It's such a small word, yet it holds an incredible amount of weight. In today's fast-paced world, we often overlook it. We chase success, we chase wealth, we chase status. But how often do we stop to consider the way we treat the people around us? This woman's life had been filled with examples of men who had all the money, all the fame, and all the success they could want. But when it came to how they treated others, especially the women in their lives, they fell short. She saw men who built empires only to lose everything because they didn't understand one simple truth. Without respect, without caring for those who stand by your side, everything else becomes meaningless. She had watched countless men dedicate their lives to chasing external validation, but in doing so, they neglected the people who mattered most: their families, their wives, their mothers. And when they finally realized what they had lost, it was too late. The damage was done, and the relationships they should have cherished were beyond repair. She shared that when you treat the people in your life, especially women, with kindness and respect, you build not just your character, but you build a legacy. It's in those small moments, those everyday interactions, where the true measure of your success lies. Not in your wealth, not in your career, but in how you treat the ones who love you unconditionally. The role of women in a man's life. As the conversation went deeper, she emphasized something that many men fail to understand: the role of women in their lives. This advice was not just about respecting women, but understanding the vital role they play in shaping a man's life and character. She explained that many men don't realize just how crucial women are in their lives, whether as mothers, wives, sisters, or daughters. Women are the unsung heroes who hold families together, who support and nurture, who offer guidance and strength. Yet, all too often, they are taken for granted. She said, "A man may think that success is measured by how much he accomplishes on his own, but the truth is, every man's success is tied to the women who stand beside him. The respect and love you give them will determine the quality of the life you live. Without them, you may climb to the top, but you'll do so alone, and that is not true success." This woman had seen men who failed to recognize the immense value women brought to their lives. They built their careers, made their money, and achieved their goals. But they did it without ever truly acknowledging the women who were there, day in and day out, holding them up. And when they finally realized their mistake, they were left with regret. The true measure of success. And here's the most striking part of what she said. Time doesn't wait for anyone. You may think you have all the time in the world, but it slips away faster than you realize. Don't wait until it's too late to understand this truth. Show respect, show love, and always remember that the true measure of a man's success is not found in what he achieves alone, but in how he treats others. This hit me hard. Too many men spend their entire lives running after things that don't matter in the end. We chase promotions, status, wealth, and recognition, but what we often neglect is the most important aspect of life, the relationships we build with the people who matter, and in particular, the respect we show the women in our lives. Her advice was simple, yet transformative. If you want to live a life of true success, it's not about what you build on the outside, it's about what you build on the inside, and the relationships you nurture along the way. Final reflection. This woman's words were not just a lesson for me, they were a lesson for anyone who listens. She reminded me, and now I'm passing it on to you, that respect is the foundation of everything. It's the foundation of love, of trust, of connection, and ultimately of a meaningful life. So let this be a reminder to all the men out there. The true success of your life won't be measured by the cars you drive, the houses you own, or the number of zeros on your paycheck. It will be measured by how you treat those around you, especially the women who love and support you. The way you respect them, honor them, and show them that they matter will define your legacy far more than anything else. Because in the end, the wisdom of a 92-year-old woman reminds us of a universal truth. The most important thing you can ever give anyone is respect, and that's something you'll never regret. That's a fact. Few men, if any, truly grasp the profound wisdom that comes with age. It's easy to get swept up in the rush of life, chasing success, fame, wealth, and power, thinking that these are the keys to happiness and fulfillment. But in reality, the most powerful insights often come from those who have lived through the trials and tribulations of life, from those who have experienced the ebb and flow of time, who have seen the world change in ways we can't even imagine. Today, we're going to dive into the invaluable advice of a 92-year-old woman. She isn't just an elderly person with years behind her. She's someone who has lived through eras of change, hardships, and triumphs. And the advice she offers is timeless, something every man should hear, internalize, and live by. The woman's journey through time. To understand the magnitude of her wisdom, it's essential to know the life she's led. This woman was born into a world very different from the one we know today. Her early years were spent in an era where survival itself was a challenge. Growing up, every day was a test of resilience. There were no shortcuts. People worked hard, not just to get ahead, but to get by. Families depended on each other, and the bond of community was stronger than anything money could buy. She saw the world shift through some of the most significant historical events in human history. She lived through wars that changed the geopolitical landscape, through economic crises that shaped the way we view money, and through cultural revolutions that forever altered society's norms. Every era she lived through left its mark on her, but one thing remained constant: her understanding of the importance of respect, humility, and kindness. She watched generations come and go, witnessing how the world evolved, from the rise of technology to the increasing pace of life. Yet, despite the fast-moving world around her, she never lost sight of the core values that sustained her through all of it. The simple yet profound advice. One afternoon, I sat down with this remarkable woman, eager to hear her reflections on life. I asked her what the greatest lesson she had learned over her long life was. At first, I expected a philosophical discourse, or perhaps something tied to a great event she had lived through, but instead, she looked at me with a soft, knowing smile and said simply, "The most important thing I've learned is this. It's not about how hard you work, it's not about the money you make, it's not even about the title you hold or the fame you achieve. It's about respect. The way you treat people, especially the women in your life, defines your success more than anything else." At first, I didn't fully grasp the depth of her words, but as she spoke, I started to realize that what she was sharing wasn't just a lesson from her own life, but a message for men everywhere. Understanding respect, the foundation of success. The word respect often gets thrown around in society, but how many of us truly understand what it means in the deepest sense? In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that success is defined by external achievements: the car you drive, the house you own, the position you hold. But what this wise woman had learned over the years is that real success doesn't lie in these things. It lies in how you treat those around you. She had seen men come and go, men who had built great empires, amassed fortunes, and gained fame. Yet, despite all their success, they failed to grasp one thing. Without respect, particularly for the women in their lives, all their accomplishments would be hollow. She recounted how, for many of these men, success became their sole focus. They worked tirelessly, believing that wealth and status would bring them fulfillment. But in the process, they neglected the relationships that mattered most. The women in their lives, whether mothers, wives, or daughters, were often the ones who sacrificed the most, giving everything to support them. Yet many men took this for granted. The result? Disconnected relationships, broken marriages, and unfulfilled lives. The role of women in shaping a man's life. What this woman understood, and what many men don't, is the irreplaceable role women play in a man's life. She shared with me that in her many years of observing relationships, she found that men often fail to truly appreciate the value of the women around them. Women, in their purest form, are not just caregivers or partners. They are the foundation on which a man's success is built. She explained, "A man may think that success is about what he achieves alone, the money he makes, the title he holds, the recognition he receives. But the truth is, his success is defined by how he treats the women around him, the respect he shows them, the love he gives them, and the way he cherishes them. If he doesn't understand that, then nothing else he does matters." A man's true measure of success is reflected in his relationships, especially the ones with the women who love him. She went on to say that it's not just about showing respect during the big moments in life. It's about those small, everyday moments that add up over time. The way a man listens, the way he speaks, the way he acknowledges the contributions of the women around him. This is what builds trust, love, and respect. This is what strengthens relationships. The regret of neglected relationships. As she continued, she told me stories of men who had spent their whole lives chasing the wrong things. They climbed the corporate ladder, earned immense wealth, and gained recognition. Yet, in the process, they lost the most important thing: the people who mattered. She spoke of men who, at the end of their lives, regretted their lack of attention to their families. They wished they had spent more time with their children, shown more appreciation to their wives, and respected the women who had been by their side through thick and thin. But by the time they realized this, the damage was done. The years spent neglecting their relationships couldn't be undone, and that, she said, was the greatest tragedy of all, the true measure of a man's success. Her words echoed in my mind. Success is not about what you have, but who you've become. It's not about the external accolades or material wealth. It's about the impact you have on the people around you, how you treat them, how you make them feel, and whether they know, deep down, that you respect them. She explained that the true measure of a man's success isn't found in the money he earns or the positions he holds, but in the love, respect, and care he gives to the people in his life. And, more importantly, the legacy he leaves behind in the relationships he has nurtured along the way. A final reflection, wisdom that transcends time. As I left that day, her words stayed with me. They are a reminder for all men, no matter how old you are, no matter what stage of life you're in, that the most important thing you can do is show respect, especially to the women who have been with you, supported you, and shaped who you are. True success, as this 92-year-old woman so profoundly shared, is not about what you achieve outside. It's about the kind of person you are inside, and how you treat those around you, because at the end of the day, it's the love and respect you give that will define the success of your life. Conclusion. The wisdom of a 92-year-old woman isn't just about old-fashioned values, it's about understanding the eternal truths of life. Respect, love, and appreciation are the cornerstones of a successful life, and men, especially, need to understand that. The true measure of a man is found in the relationships he builds and the respect he shows to the people who matter most.